Hi, I'm Charles, and I work for Horticulture at the San Antonio Zoo. Today we're actually going to be showing you what we do for job as plant technicians here at the greenhouses. And today we got in 2,600 plugs. But this is one of the ways that we use to help landscape in the San Antonio Zoo. So we grow our flowers here locally. And the other two ways that could be done also is one by seeding and one by taking cuttings. But as you can see over here, Jorge, one of my co-workers here in horticulture, is actually putting the plugs in, and I can actually show you one of those up here real close here. The plugs are quite small, about the size of your thumb, and where they come from is a trays of 288, and it's just one of the more ways that we can produce our flowers economically here at the San Antonio Zoo. If you take a look over here, I can show you some of the flowers that we've done the past few weeks here. Here's one that we actually put a plug in the 4x4 tray. We stepped them up, we put them in there. A week or two later, this one here is called Penta. This one right here actually grew grows quite well, as you can see, in our special potting mix that we use. And after about 4 weeks there, the Penta looks like this here. Here's another one here called the Coleus here, and you can see if I were to take this out, you can see it's falling apart. You can actually see the plug in the 4x4. The Coleus here will grow after about 2 weeks. It'll be about so high here, and when it gets about this high, you can see the root systems start to form at the bottom here, and we know it's about ready to set out in the zoo there and do the landscaping there. If it sits for any length of time there, it can get quite big, and this is what it would look like several weeks later, maybe a month later. Okay. As you can look around the greenhouses here, you can see we have almost everything in here has been done from plug. It's a fast way and more economical way of producing. Zinnias are to your right, Angelonias, and we also have Marigolds to your left right here. And these were put in perhaps maybe 2 weeks ago. So they grow very quickly, and it helps us to landscape the zoo at a very quick pace. As you can look to your left too, you can see Jorge, my co-worker here, is putting the plugs in the trays here. And what he does is he forms a little pocket, and he presses down and tamps it tightly so that the root system is not exposed to air. And the air, of course, would dry up the roots there, and the plant would possibly die. So we try to prevent that from happening by him tamping in real close there. Each tray here is about 18 count, and we use these after several weeks here, and we carry them down in our trucks then to the zoo and do the landscaping.
Charlie, about how long does it take to plant all of these plugs?
Well, today it depends on how many we get in, and today we're using 3 people, but most of the time we'll use almost the whole crew that we work with. There's about 8 other workers there that really do a great job, and we'll put them in. We station them apart, and we work very quickly, and probably it depends on how many we have on our work team for that day there, but we could possibly do these in several hours depending on how many we get in. This particular batch that came in this morning, the Celosia, here's a flat tray of those there. And how we get these out, by the way, is we take a pencil and we just actually poke them out, and you can see them coming up very easily here. But what happens is, if we just have one tray, of course, I would do it myself there. But if we have many trays, then we'll call up more people to help. Today we have 3 people helping, and we'll probably be finished by noon today. But it depends on how fast one works as well. So, but the past several weeks we've gotten in almost 14,000 of these plugs in. But again, this is just one way that we propagate here at the San Antonio Zoo. There we also use, again, like I said, we seed, and we also use cuttings, which is quite fast as well.
How does your team decide where to plant which plants?
That would mostly depend on my supervisor. But what happens many times is if we have a shady spot where there's a lot of trees, we'll use a particular plant such as the Coleus, which is right over here. You can see this one here likes shade quite a bit there, and so we won't put that particular plant in an area where there's full sun. We don't like to do that. And whereas the Penta can actually go in shade, and we use this one quite a bit in our butterfly house. It does like shade, but it also will take some sunshine as well. So, and it'll also take cold weather. So depending on what the plant likes, we try to accommodate that.
What's one of the hardest plants to grow here?
Wow, I'd have to think about that one there, because they're none of them are hard. Some grow a little bit slower than others. We have one over in the other greenhouse there that's been there for a couple of weeks, and it's actually quite small there. It just doesn't grow fast, and some of them grow very quickly. The Coleus right here is the one that we actually use there that will grow quite fast there. In 2 weeks we can probably have it out in the zoo there, using it for landscaping.
Do you change the plants out around the zoo frequently? Or
Yes,
at
we
different
do.
times of the year?
We do change them out. Depends on the season, and depends on perhaps maybe if we had a drought or something and we lose some of the plants for various reasons there, which could be maybe an insect gets in there, and so we're constantly upgrading and replacing these plants as needed.
Terry Lynn has a question. She would like to know, are there ever plant sales for the community?
Yes, ma'am. We do plant sales several times a year, and one of those is at Mother's Day, and we like to set up in the parking lot in the zoo there, and our various parts of the zoo. We'll set up tables there, and anything extra that we might have or will grow on purpose there to help raise money for the zoo, we will sell those at that time there.
What types of plants do you grow from seed?
I have one over here that's we just finished here a few weeks ago there. This one right here is called a milkweed. It's a neotropical. The monarchs love it. They like to lay their eggs on the leaves there. They will hatch out into the larvae, and of course they'll consume the leaves there, and then they'll go into their chrysalis and produce. A few weeks later they'll come out, emerge into the beautiful monarch butterfly there. This is one that we do from seed there, and we like this one here quite a bit. It grows very well.
What are some of the most important things that you have to consider when you're planting plants? Earlier you talked about certain plants liking shade versus sun. Is there anything else?
One of the things that I try to do is if the plant needs shade, we'll put it in a shadier greenhouse, which we have in our number 3 house over there. It's got a shade cloth on it, and it's actually under some of the red oak trees there. So this provides shade for it. It helps it to grow a little bit better, and it doesn't wilt quite as bad. The other thing too is how much water to give it. Certain plants in here really like a lot of water. For example, the zinnias will take quite a bit of water, especially as they start to grow. They'll actually consume more water. But yet we have a plant over here. The portulaca over here do not like as much water, and so what ends up happening is if you give them too much water, they will actually start to rot at the base there, and we'll lose the plant there. So we try to cut back watering on some, and then some we water a little bit more.
Can you tell us a little bit about these flowers you have over here?
These over here are shaded type plant. They're called impatiens. These were grown from plugs, not from seed. They do like a lot of shade. They're quite attractive there, and they'll stay quite a while in the beds that we put them in. And this helps to save on money too, because we're always looking to save money. So we want plants that'll last a long time and not just grow for a few weeks.
If you could give any of our viewers at home some advice, maybe anybody's looking to plant some plants now that it's springtime, what are some good plants to look into right now with this Texas weather?
Well, right now we're having pretty nice weather. It's just now starting to get warm, but the marigolds are quite pretty there. They do like full sun, but they do quite well there. But most of the things that we have here in the greenhouses here are things that we order this time of the year because they do well in the springtime. And in the summertime, they might start playing out because of the heat, and then we'll replace them with other types of flowers. But basically, just check with, if you're going to buy from a garden center or something, you might want to check with people there. They could probably advise you, and they normally have plants that will grow during that particular season.
Great. And Kayla has a question. She would like to know what your favorite plant that you've ever grown is.
Excuse me. Favorite plant. Let me see. Gosh, there are so many. One of my favorites is the Penta, and you can see it's the one that we have over here. This is one that I grow quite a bit of, and since I'm in charge of taking care of the butterfly house and doing the landscaping in there, the Penta does real well. The butterflies like the nectar from it, and they're constantly on it, and it's just a gorgeous plant, and it will keep quite well. As a matter of fact, if you were to grow this for the springtime, you'll still be producing flowers at Christmas time, as long as it doesn't get frozen. The thing is too, it will take cold temperatures, so this makes it real nice. So it's a fun plant to grow. It's a beautiful plant. The colors are quite varied, and so this would be one of my favorites right here.
Misha would like to know if you have any advice for balcony gardeners for fun plants to grow on your balcony.
If the balcony is full of sun, then any of the flowering plants that like sun would work. What I would do is I would pick a flower or a plant that you like, not just because it's for sale at a nursery or something, or you can also buy the seed and try growing some things yourself there on the balcony there. If it's shady, then you would want to pick a plant that does better in shade. And just make sure, because of the container is going to be smaller on the balcony than in a flower bed, then you're going to have to water it a little bit more regular.
All right. A lot of people want all of your expertise. So do you have any advice on pruning? Pruning 101.
Well, most people prune as far as flowers or trees?
Both.
Both. Well, if the flower is showing stress or something on some of the branches or leaves there, then you just need to. Sometimes you can just break it off, or take a hand shear or something and cut it. If it's a tree of some sort or a shrub, then you would want to make sure that you cut close to the branch, and so that you don't leave an area exposed for insect problems a little bit later on.
Dominique would like to know, what is the most unique type of plant that we have here at the zoo?
In my opinion, they're all unique. Each plant's special in its own way, and there's just so many of these things. I would say we have the plumeria, which is a plant that we have that we put in the zoo there. It's grown in Hawaii, and for making the lace. When you get off the airplane there, you know that they put that necklace around you with the flowers hanging there. It's quite pretty too. We have so many flowers and so many trees that are really special. We have one that we're growing right now. I planted it from seed. It's moringa, which is real popular right now. It's very high in vitamins and so forth. They're good for your body. There can cure many ailments and so forth there, but they're making tea with it now. You can buy it in some of the local grocery stores as well.
Awesome. Well, we have so many people that want your expertise. Laura, we see your question about gardening. I think this is so popular, we might have to do a follow-up video just on some gardening 101, maybe our best tips from our zoo horticulturists. How about that?
Sounds great. Okay, well, thank you for coming in today and taking a look at our greenhouses and looking at some of the things that we do here. And y'all have a great day. Thank you.